Hey, Blue Rockers, Connie Willis here with Crypto Connie, and we're doing a little BitShares Now thing because we're actually talking with people that are using that technology that we've been talking about with Stan Larimer, the godfather of BitShares. He introduced me to a friend of his called Jonathon Baha'i, and Jonathon has some really neat applications that he's using the blockchain for. Now, he's not totally with the BitShare. Well, I'll let him tell you about that because he can tell you a little bit better than I can. Jonathon, welcome to Bluerocktalk and Crypto Connie. How are you today?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here, especially since you're in that bunker there, that nuclear bunker. I love it. I love hearing that. You're truly a blue rocker. So okay. So tell us again before we talk about some of the things we want to talk about today about how you're related to the BitShares blockchain or not.
So PeerPlays actually did have its beginnings when we first got started doing the proof of concept. We started by creating a user-issued asset on the PeerPlays blockchain that was called PeerPlays. And with that, we raised some initial funds to be able to create the proof of concept for PeerPlays. You can see information on that back in 2016. So with that, we were using the BitShares, platform for what it was intended, right? So people can go there, they can create assets of however, and be able to create them for whatever they like. And so in this case, we wanted to create a proof of concept on creating a blockchain that was dedicated to gaming that could actually transact a game that would be peer-to-peer in real time. That's something that had never been done in the blockchain space prior.
Oh, so, excellent. Really? Yeah. Okay, I love that.
Yeah, so because of the technology that BitShares offers with its speed, we were going to take that and apply that to a gaming blockchain. So we got started with that, and we were successful in our raise. And then over the course of the period, which we said we would create our proof of concept, we accomplished that. We created a game that was at the time called Rock, Paper, Scissors. Rock, Paper, Scissors was the perfect demo game because it's something which is it takes a degree of skill. It's a very simple and universal game. Its origins are from China, from ancient China. Thousands of years ago, they started Rock, Paper, Scissors.
I didn't know that.
So we saw it as something that was universal. It made sense. And within it, we also created a tournament bracket. So you're able to not only have just a one-to-one play, but you can create an entire tournament of hundreds of players, all to come down to a single winner. So it was a really interesting concept. We were successful in that, and then it came this year that we finally got to where we built the entire PeerPlays. We built the entire PeerPlays blockchain with that proof of concept. We launched it, and so now today the PeerPlays blockchain is running using the same type of technologies that BitShares has behind it. So BitShares is dedicated to being a decentralized exchange, and so PeerPlays in the same way is dedicated to being a gaming blockchain.
Wow! And when you use the blockchain with gaming, then you have all these great benefits, correct?
Yes, because I mean, all of us have played some kind of game online, and especially where it might have something to do with wagering or betting. Oftentimes, you're using some kind of operator's website, and the application you're using, you never really know what's in the code. You never really know how it's being set. There's always the house advantage, and there's always like someone who's pulling the levers and pushing the buttons, telling about who's going to win and who's going to lose at whatever it is. Sometimes it's not an even playing field, even in one-on-one gaming environments. Sometimes there's like someone could use some kind of a cheat code to be able to like have an advantage over the players. So there's in the environment, in the traditional computing environment, you don't really have any assurances that you're all playing on the same field, right? So
and people made a lot of money by doing those cheats and cheat codes, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. And it's this is part of the evolution of computing. But you introduce blockchain to that, and you introduce the capacity for being able to know that everybody's playing on the same field. It's decentralized, so there's no one entity that's determining what the outcome could be. So with all that, you have that happening at the application layer. Then now this introduces a whole new world where games can be created. they can be completely fair, and you can always know that no matter who you are, from whatever part of the world you are, you're always going to have the same experience as everybody else, and there's no chance that there's going to be an operator behind that who's just going to pull the lever and push the button to change things on you, and you basically are out. You've lost, and it's just not fair. So this is all about being able to eliminate corruption of at multiple layers that exists today in the gaming area.
I love that. So that means the person that has practiced the most and had the best talent and the best ability and the best strategy is the one who's going to win. It's not because somebody feels sorry for them or they owe that person because, they screwed up something in the past with each other or something like that, right? It's human bias.
Yeah, or because they have certain sponsors.
Oh, right. Oh, my gosh. That's like one of the biggest ones. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Or, it's not your buddy. I got to help my buddy out, right?
Right.
I love that. I mean, because, you work hard all your life to get good at something, and then when somebody else gets that favor, I've auditioned for television and radio stuff all my life, so when somebody, beats you out on an audition just because they're somebody's aunt or uncle, it kills you because you've worked so hard. So I love this. Maybe we can put auditions on the blockchain in the future. That's a great idea. We'll have to talk.
Not bad. Yeah.
So now, is HelmBet, is that the paper, scissors, is that?
I rocked you. Rock, scissors,
yeah. Paper. So is that paper?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, rock, paper, scissors. But we also had another one, dynamite.
Oh, you have dynamite.
We had dynamite because what? Okay, if you do rock, paper covers rock, right?
Right.
Okay, and if you have scissors cut paper.
Okay,
but rock smashes scissors, right?
Right.
Okay, so what beats rock? The dynamite blows up rock.
Okay, there you go. Well, paper beats rock too, so you cover it.
Yeah, it covers it up. Okay, well, dynamite
seems to beat everything, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Because actually, rock could also put out that, dynamite.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. Yeah. Scissors cuts
the wick.
line to the dynamite.
That's right, cuts the wick. That's right. The scissors will cut the wick. Yeah. Yeah,
Could do that.
I wonder who added maybe it was an American. After the Chinese did all that stuff, the American added the dynamite. Maybe that's what happened along the way, or somebody. Maybe Canadian or, an Englishman. Yeah. Somebody added dynamite. So that's the HelmBet. And I really like that you guys took that classic game and put it on there to test it out and went global and then put it into tournaments to determine one winner. I love that. I had a game on the market. I grew up playing games. In Kentucky, it gets cold and you have family members and all you do is play games. And so I love that mindset. And to hear that, there's no cheating whatsoever. The best person wins, no matter what age, or ethnicity, anything. That's really cool that you took it that far. So what do you plan to do with that?
So HelmBet is available now. Right now it's being wagered with, if you want to be able to pay the tournament entry fee, it's all in PPY tokens. But as I mentioned previously, there is going to be updates to the PEERPLAYS blockchain to start accepting Bitcoin. And with that means that people are going to be able to now play rock, paper, scissors, HelmBet using Bitcoin. And at that point, I think we're going to see much more use of it as a general game. So with that's going to be probably the next update. As a game, it's got the technology that's built into it is really interesting because it's actually it uses Unity 3D gaming engine, which is something that hasn't been done in the blockchain either. We actually created the entire game in Unity 3D, and it's talking to the PEERPLAYS blockchain. So because it's using Unity 3D, that's really something because there's millions of gaming developers around the world, and a lot of the mobile games that are out there today use that same engine. And so if we're able to have games that are created and they're able to interact with the blockchain using this type of platform, that's going to allow us to be able to create things that, again, are going to be able to have mass adoption, which is like when people are able to just download onto their phones, be able to play it, same thing on their computers. So it really expands the possibilities of what's going to be able to be created on the PeerPlays blockchain. So that's why introducing HelmBet as it is, even though it's just rock, paper, scissors, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but actually the technology that went into it and the demonstration of what it does actually sets the foundations for some really exciting things to happen.
Absolutely.
And so we anticipate that there's going to be more documentation coming out. There's going to be more support in explaining how to use this type of technology, and then we anticipate that other game developers are going to see the benefits and be able to actually start creating their own games to use using the same technology.
Absolutely, I love it. I love it. I've got more things to add to that, but I'm going to wait till the part 3 of this series to get into a little bit deeper detail on what I want to ask you about that. However, I want to know more about the before we go, if you can tell me more about PeerPlays in general, as well as your wallet that you have, the core wallet.
Yeah, so PeerPlays is a generalized gaming platform. So it's geared towards creating decentralized gaming applications. So within it, we have certain functions that allow for things like the tournament brackets. There's a marketplace function which allows for the buying and selling of in-game assets that's in there. We have that the initial functions that actually make up rock, paper, scissors have functions within them that can be applied to all kinds of other different kinds of games. We have other applications like the 50/50 DApp that's coming out soon. The underlying functions of that actually are using something that we call sweeps. So the sweeps application allows for sweepstakes, for lotto, for scratch and wins, for these types of applications, all within the blockchain, and again, all global. And then aside from that, there's the big flagship application that we have coming called Bookie. So the bookie.exchange utilizes the same type of exchange technologies that you see in BITSHARES. We've recreated them to actually apply them into a betting exchange, right? So in North America, it's more common for people to go to a. What?
That's our next show.
Oh, okay.
Exchange. We're going to be talking about that next.
Okay.
Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger.
Okay.
Cliffhanger, right? Right? You'll be doing that in the future. So we're going to be talking about Bookie.exchange in our next episode with Jonathon. So I want you guys to hang around because that's really, really cool. I was saving the best for last. Even though all this other stuff is incredible, Jonathon, absolutely. I mean, you are... I said when I wrote you at first, you're a man after my own heart. I really love what you're doing. And, how are you getting this funded?
So last year we started with the initial crowdfund, as I mentioned, and we used the BITSHARES platform to do that. Okay. And then we had a crowdfund earlier this year where we raised several $1 million in Bitcoin. So that were donations to the nonprofit, which is the PeerPlays Blockchain Standards Association. And those donations are now going towards being applied to everything related to the PeerPlays blockchain. So there's not only the development of these technologies, but there's work being done to create the frameworks to support developers so that we're taking the approach of trying to create the standards by which future regulations, as they start to come about into the blockchain space, they're actually going to be able to look at what we've done and see a framework which they can simply adapt, rather than trying to figure out some kind of new way. It's like, look, they've already created this gaming blockchain. They've already created the standards by which, it clearly shows that everything is transparent and audible and fair to everyone. So why don't we just adopt that? And that's the approach that the PBSA is taking in order to make the PeerPlays blockchain the world's global gaming blockchain, by which everybody who transacts with Bitcoin, they know they can transfer funds. When people think about gaming, we want them to think about PeerPlays as the place that they know that they can trust to be able to transact in the gaming that they do.
And more to come here on Crypto Connie and Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. This is Jonathon Baha'i, and we have part 3 coming up. We're going to hear about this bookie exchange, this betting thing, and you guys are going to be excited about it. I'm excited about it, to learn from the man himself. So more to come. thank you very much for being with us, Jonathan. I appreciate that you know. Yeah, he's our true blue rocker, folks. I'm telling you, he's the man. We've got more to come. Part 3 is coming up, so stick around. The links are down below. How can people find Peer Plays, Jonathan?
You can find it at peerplays.com. That's peerplays.com. You can also find them on Twitter at peerplays as well.
All right, and the links will be down below for anything else that you need. Thanks, Blue Rockers. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
3, 2, 1.